We had the opportunity to research the options available for personal legal liability protection for those who carry a firearm in the United States in 2022. Our goal in this series of videos is to offer in a non-biased format the results of that research. Here we go. In this video, we're going to take a look at the Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network, and we're going to go through our list of factors here as we did some research on the different types of legal liability coverage for people who carry a firearm. And this information is current as of February of 2002. And we want to thank our Patreons, people that make it possible for us to research and provide this information. It's all posted on our website, MinutemanUniversity.com, for anybody that wants to check it out. And we don't have any skin in the game, although I've got my personal preferences, which I'll try to keep out of this review. We don't have any interest in if you decide to go with one of these options or if you don't. So with that in mind, we're going to look at some factors here about the Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network, and I can offer whatever information I might have. It's all current as of February 2022, according to our research and my recollection. So apologize for any errors, and we look forward to comments wherever you find this. We do post this on multiple platforms, and we read the comments wherever we post it, so let us know if we're missing something or if you have something to add. And of course, any comments we're looking forward to. So the Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network, as of now, this is their logo. This is their website. They started in 2008. If we scroll down to the bottom of the research here, you can see that it was created by a pretty respected group of individuals. Marty Hayes, a police officer, an attorney, an instructor, well-respected. Masad Ayub, expert witness, an author. We've got John Farnham, Tom Givens, Dennis Tueller. There's others, all respected instructors and people with an interest in keeping their students and others from the quagmire of legal issues when there's a lethal force incident. So going back up to the top of the data here, we've got the type of organization. I'm going to classify it as a membership organization, and again, this is just our attempt to classify these. And if there's a better way to do it, let us know. I haven't found any published data on how many members are in the network. If you know that, I'd definitely like to add it. Now, they don't have multiple options or tiers. They have one level. It's $135 a year as of now. And there is a discount each year. So after the first year, $135, subsequent years, it's only $95 a year. So it's technically a multi-year discount. Getting into the coverages now, this is a membership organization as opposed to insurance, so it's a little bit different than some of the other options. So the states that are covered had been the entire country. Up until just recently, the state of Washington has denied its citizens from purchasing services with the Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network, which is ironic and must be frustrating since they are located in the state of Washington. But anyhow, that's one of the ways the state of Washington is fighting individual freedom, I guess. So aside from that, you can get the Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network in any of the states. I'll scroll back in on this. They pay up front as opposed to reimbursement. You can choose your attorney. I believe they'll help you with them as well. You have access to attorneys for more than just your situation. If you have a question or something, I believe you have ways to contact an attorney once you're a member of the network. Criminal defense costs are half of the pool. So with all the different members in the network, each offering $135 or $95 a year, all that money goes into a pool. They don't really have a lot of expenses from what I understand, so that pool just grows, and each member has access to up to half of the pool. So whenever something happens and you need to use the service, they immediately give you $25,000 for your bail, whatever, and then to get an attorney going, and then the board reviews your situation and provides resources accordingly. At least that's how I understand it. Appeals are covered, and civil defense costs are covered for the defense costs, but when it comes to any civil damages, this isn't insurance, so your civil damages are your own responsibility. The Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network doesn't cover civil damages, and that's one of the things that makes it different than some of the insurance plans that offer different levels of insurance for civil damages. That would be as an alternative to the criminal costs, where the criminal defense costs are when the state is going to put you in jail. Now, if somebody decides something you did affected them and they take you to civil court, the civil damages would be a lawsuit against you or for some amount of money, and this coverage does not cover that or protect you from that. They protect you in court against the lawsuit, but if you're found guilty and you have to pay damages, which if you listen to some people is very rarely, then they don't offer that. So next up would be bail bond. They offer $25,000 right away. They do have expert witnesses, and not only do they have access to them, but it's literally created by some of the most distinguished expert witnesses out there for this type of situation. So definitely a bonus there. Spouses are $60 a year. Dependents are $60 additionally each year. Now, red flag protection, our red flag laws are the extreme risk protection orders. You're not covered for that, so that's interesting, and I'm not sure if that'll change. Psychological counseling is something that typically the insurance options cover, so this one doesn't cover that. They don't cover lost wages while you might be in court. Some of them cover costs while you might be away from work. They do cover if you're constitutionally carrying, while some of them require that you have a CCW permit. The Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network does not. They don't cover any crime scene cleanup fees. Some of the others do. They do cover any weapon, anything, not just firearms. Some of them only cover situations with firearms. They don't replace confiscated firearms. They don't go after you for any kind of recoupment if you're found guilty. If you take a plea agreement, that's a big deal breaker for some people. There is one, maybe more, in the past organ or services that if you take a plea deal or if something happens and you get found guilty, they'll actually go back and ask for their fees back. The Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network does not do that. I don't have any insight on accidental discharge, so I don't have an answer for this one. If someone knows the answer to that one, it would help us fill in the information here. And they don't cover situations in gun-free zones, and I imagine that has something to do with the legality. So that's an interesting factor. Most of them don't cover gun-free zones, so they're not unique in that respect. But it is something that maybe will change in the future as we see development of these services. Now, the extras are a smaller portion in the overall grand scheme of things. Most people tend to look at the price, the cost to them, and then the coverage, what they're going to get in protection from the cost, right? And that's because most of them are marketed as either a good deal or a great coverage, a great protection. The Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network is more interested in keeping you out of jail by any means necessary, and by that, education is the means that are often or most used to keep you out of jail. So this training resources is more than just an extra. It's really a pillar of their concept. So you'll get these DVDs, and you can watch the DVDs at your leisure, occasionally or on a regular basis. And every time you do, you can take a permanent marker and initial them and date them. And there's a place to do that. And then if you ever do need to go to court and have one of their expert witnesses, one of the resources that'll be available to you is the DVDs that you've watched occasionally and regularly. And since you can do things to get those brought into court, and that way potentially your jury would watch the same DVDs and get some up training and some awareness on what your mindset might have been in the situation. Therefore, the training is a big part of the keeping people from having to deal with, again, the quagmire of the legal stuff. So don't want to blow over the DVDs and the training part of it. The awareness and the educational materials are all a big part of the Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network. They do have a 24-hour hotline. They do have these educational materials, but they don't offer a lot of frills, so there's not a bunch of extra benefits. I think there are a couple of businesses, some instructors that might give you a discount. I didn't dig into too much stuff here, but they don't brag about all their extras because really it's a no frills, let's get the work accomplished. To that end, digging into the last portion of the information here, where we have kind of some insight to the organizations at different levels that I haven't seen covered all over. We have YouTube, and they do have a presence on YouTube. They've been there since 2016. They only have 22 videos. That's not the fewest of all these organizations, but it's at the low end. They're definitely not utilizing their YouTube a lot. They have 164,000 views, which isn't, again, it's not at the bottom of the spectrum here, but it's kind of low end and middle. And they've got only 4,000 subs. I say only because some of the other organizations here are really utilizing YouTube more. Now, I keep saying because we have a Citizens Defense League here in Arizona, so I'm mixing it up. But the Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network has no affiliate program, so they don't pay people to get them to join the program. Actually, they're probably the only one that doesn't have one. So all the other systems, all the other services do have a way to give, $10 or more, $5 to $10 or more per sign up for people to point them their way. So you're going to find a lot of sales pitches out there, but not too many sales pitches for Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network. You're going to find more people that found out about it through reputable people that they respect and decided to go with it, maybe have used it or know about one of the court cases or something and the results, and decided to take or to join the network. And you're going to find most of your word of mouth advertising that way. Experience, I don't have numbers on the Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network success rate or failure rate or number of cases that have gone to court or that they've helped with. I do have personal experience on more than one, I think, so at least one for sure, I think more than one. So, and I know that was a success, or the person was happy with the situation. So I don't have information on that one or any of the others. So that's something I would like to add. If someone has access to that info, be glad to add it to the research. Finally, their advisors, again, I'll mention them: Marty Hayes, Masada Ayub, John Farnham, Tom Givens, Dennis Tuller. These are all instructors, authors, people with long resumes and much respect in the community, lots of experience, and they created, if you look at it from this way, they created the first of these organizations in 2008. Before Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network, our only option as concealed carry people who carried a firearm around concealed, our only option was to have some sort of prepaid legal option. So once the Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network came into being, some of the other options started to show up, and they're still around. So that's my kind of dive into the Armed Citizens Legal Defense Network. Stay tuned in this series. We're going to dig into each of the others. We'll offer as much insight and info as we can. I want to thank again our Patreons, the people that make it possible for us to dig in and do the research, also to post it. They keep the websites online. This is all available on Minuteman University, along with lots of other information from projects like this in the past. Our goal is to make our Second Amendment more clear, more accessible, and transparent, and post our history and where we're at today. Let us know in the comments, wherever you happen to find this, what you think. If you have anything to add or any comments. We're looking forward to them. I'd like to say a big thank you to those who subscribe to our Patreon channel. You keep our websites online and all this information available for free for everyone. Wherever you find the video, over on gunstreamer.com or on guntube.org. Thank you for supporting our projects. If you'd like to buy us a cup of coffee, check out our Patreon channel.
The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thank you for watching gunwebsites.com.